No? Thank you. So ladies, we're going to get started with the next part of our afternoon here, which is our guest speaker. I hope everyone enjoyed lunch. It was delicious, thanks to Woodland, and the cupcakes were amazing. I know I hailed mine. Thank you. And I have the honor of introducing our guest speaker. Angie Nuttle is an award-winning author, speaker, and executive business coach for corporate and entrepreneurial women. I knew I was going to struggle with that. She is the CEO of Corporate Talent Institute and founder of the VIP Center for Business Women in Indianapolis, where she helps business women grow in faith and business through coaching and community. One of her books, The Purple Life, has sparked a rapidly growing community of faith-based women across the United States who engage in prayer challenges, conferences, and a deepened walk with the Lord. Angie is married with 3 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 fur babies. We are very excited that she is here and going to speak to us today. So please help me welcome Angie.
Put these right here. See, I have door prizes too. Yeah. I believe in participation, so let me see how this is going to work. Hi. See y'all. All right. Well, ladies, I'm excited to be here, and I'm going to tell you that when I came in, I immediately felt the warmth of the ladies in here. This is a group of beautiful and intelligent women. And today I'm talking about one woman can make a difference. Well, let me tell you, all of you made a difference for me already, because this morning I really wanted to just wear my stretchy pants and the sweatshirt. But I knew that you all were going to be here, and so I had to put some clothes on, and you have already influenced me. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah, so one woman can make a difference. And I think about women around the world who have done different things. And I'm sure that you can think of some too. I'm going to ask you here in just a moment. But, I mean, we've seen women, famous women, who have tackled humanitarian aid. We've seen and heard and witnessed women who have tried to solve world hunger, world peace, try to manage a household, all kinds of famous women who have done that. So I'm just curious, how many of you can think of a famous woman who made a difference or who is making a difference? Yes? Malala. Hey, you know what? Because you were number 1, you win the cupcake. You have to come and get it. Come get your cupcake. Let's give her a hand. Congratulations. She wins the prize. There you go.
I have to make it to go because I've already had 2.
Congratulations. You're a winner. All right. Yeah, who else? Who else do we know? Yes.
Clara Barton.
Clara Barton. Wow. Anyone else? Mother Teresa. Yes. Anyone else? Yes.
Sister Carol.
Sister Carol.
You don't know her, but everybody else knows.
Well, she's famous to you all, so that's important. Right. I mean, there are all kinds of women out there, and I'm really surprised when nobody said Oprah, because she goes into her studio and she says, "And you get a car, and you get a car." Well, I'm not giving away cars today. I'm giving away Hershey Kisses and cupcakes, and I'll be happy to hand out blessings. You get a blessing. You get a blessing. You get some favor over here. You get a blessing. Yeah. So we know that there are women out there that can make a difference, but I want to talk about women of the Bible. So there are women in the Bible who made a difference. Back, we have to go way back. way back into history to look into the Bible and see that. So I'm just curious, can you think of a woman in the Bible that really did make a difference? Yes. Mother Mary? Yep. I mean, kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal that she was chosen at age 14 to carry, you know, the Son of the living God. That's a big deal. Yes. Who? Yes.
Rachel.
Rachel, yes. Rachel and Leah. Yep.
Mary Magdalene.
Mary Magdalene, yep. I mean, she got delivered from demons. That's a big deal. How many of us have gotten delivered from our demons? What a great example. I saw another hand up. Yes. Ruth. Oh, I love Ruth. And she was paired up with Naomi. Naomi was an unhappy camper. You know, traveling. She lost everything. Yeah, it's an amazing story. So we can call out these women and recognize that they really did something significant. They did something to influence, and they did something to matter, you know, that really carried through time. But I want to talk for just a moment. Oops, what's wrong? I want to talk just for a moment about women who are lesser known. The women that we don't necessarily talk about all the time, that don't necessarily come up in the course of our conversation. So, how many of you have heard of Abigail? Abigail in the Bible. Raise your hand if you've heard Abigail. Okay, some of us are like, who? Who's that? Well, let me tell you about Abigail. This is a fun fact. She is the only woman in the Bible that was characterized as both beautiful and intelligent. Wow. One person, one woman in the Bible had both of those characteristics identified about her. But that's not her story. Let me tell you about Abigail. Abigail was, she was this beautiful, intelligent woman, and she was married to a very rich man, and let me just say, he was a jerk face. His name was Nabal. He was very wealthy, but he was just a jerk. He was a jerk to her, and he was a jerk to everybody around him. Well, David, before David became king, was running around the wilderness, hiding from Saul, hiding in caves, trying to get away from him because Saul was jealous of him. Well, so David and all of his men were running out of provisions. They needed food. They needed supplies. So David thought, well, you know, I'm gonna help this person, Nabal. I'm gonna help him out. We're out here in the wilderness. We're gonna keep an eye on his people. We're gonna help watch his flocks for a few days, and then maybe we'll be in his good graces. Well, so David and his men do this, and then David approaches the men and says, hey, we've been helping you out, and we just want you to ask your master if he can give us some provision. We need food. We need blankets. We need supplies. So the servants go back, and Nabal's like, heck no. He totally snubbed David. He turned him away, and then he went on to his party where he had a big feast and just kind of went off on his own and forgot totally about David. Well, David became angry. And David's like, I'm going to kill every single one of those people in the whole family. So they start to head that way. Well, the servant goes to Abigail and says, Nabal has done this. You've got to do something. Otherwise, we're going to all be killed. So what does Abigail do? You know, a woman's work is never done. Abigail says, get all the provisions. Load it up. Give them food. Give them all the supplies they need, and we're going to go meet them halfway. So here goes Abigail with all the stuff, and she heads David off at the pass, and she says, oh, my Lord, please forgive us. I'll take it on me. Please forgive us for this. Please take all of these rations as a sign of goodwill. And so David says, okay. He says, no problem, no problem. I appreciate this. So she influenced him to stand down. Pretty amazing. And then she says something interesting. She says, and remember me, my Lord. She says, remember me. Now, why would she say that? Isn't that just a weird thing to say? So anyway, she goes on home, and she eventually tells her husband, it's actually the next day because he was partying the night before, and she tells him, she says, hey, I did this, and Nabal, his heart turned to stone. He actually, it's like he had a heart attack, and he died a week later. Isn't that crazy? He died a week later. And then here comes David. Hey, Abigail, just come on over. I'm going to make you my wife. I'm going to take care of you for the rest of your life. And Abigail lived happily ever after. What? I mean, Abigail stopped death from happening. She stopped lots of lives from being wasted because of the situation. Okay, so how many of you have heard of Huldah? Crickets. Huldah, what is that? And first of all, why did someone name her that? That name means mole. I mean, come on, Mom. Huldah is another woman. We just a blip on the radar that we never hear about. But back in the book of Kings, King Josiah and the priests of that time, they sought this woman out. She had a direct line to God, and they trusted her wisdom. As a matter of fact, they found a book of the law, and they went to Huldah to find out, hey, is this legitimate? What is God trying to tell? She was courageous, and she let them know, yes, this is directly from God, and we have sinned as a nation, and we need to repent. And if we don't, then I don't remember exactly what was said, but it was basically like, we're all going to hell, basically. Well, so of course they took her advice and they repented, and God's favor was restored for Israel. Another woman who just spoke the truth, did what God called her to do. And then we have this gal named Jael. That's another one. I mean, Jael? Yeah, I'll tell you, anybody heard of Jael? Well, let me tell you, Deborah, the judge, is usually the one that overshadows Jael, because everybody knew Deborah was a judge. She was the only judge, female judge. And so I'm going to talk this in Angie's language, okay? So a guy named Barak comes up and says, Deborah, I know we got to go to war, but I don't want to go without you. And Deborah says, man, all right, I'll go with you. I don't want to go, but I'll go. And because you're a scaredy cat, that means that you're not going to get the glory for this victory. A woman is going to get the victory. Well, of course, we assume that's going to be Deborah. Well, so they're all chasing the bad guy and trying to win this battle. And they're chasing after this guy named Sisera. I'm going to call him Sissy for short. So Sissy was running away, and Sissy ran to jail. He ran to jail. He was trying to find a place to hide, so he runs into her tent. She says, yeah, come on in. Come on in. Yeah, just make yourself at home. I've got some milk for you. Here, just drink it. And so he slides up under the covers and rugs to try to be in hiding. Well, he falls asleep in there, and he's sleeping like a fat baby. And guess what Jael does? She takes him out with a tent peg to the temple. Does anyone know the line that Jael is most famous for? Nailed it. Yeah. Well, and then there's Lot's wife. Everybody knows Lot's wife, right? I strongly believe that there's only one reason why Lot's wife was here and present on this earth. And I believe it was a message that speaks to all of us in this room today, all of us women today. And you know what that message was? Don't look back. Don't look back. I heard you mouth that one. You get another prize. You get a kiss.
It was Teresa.
Okay. Well, I have 2 kisses. You can come get your kisses. All good girls get kisses. Woo-hoo. That means all of y'all should be coming up here. Don't look back. Don't look back.
I'm not.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So don't look back. But there's one gal in particular. Let me try to figure out this clicker here. We're going backwards. We're not supposed to go back. Right. This lady right here, Lydia Seller of Purple. This particular woman has influenced me over the course of my life. God used her to influence me. I had no idea that Lydia existed until, I knew of her, I kind of heard it, and she's another one of those. It's a blip on the radar. We don't really pay attention. She's mentioned in Acts 16, and she was a worshiper of God, and she did some pretty crazy things, all right? What's crazy about her is single woman, very successful and influential businesswoman, had a household, obviously was wealthy, but she courageously invited Paul and Silas and all of his crew into her house. And let me tell you, if social media were to get a hold of that today, the headlines would probably be, "Woman invites men into her home. Stoning inevitable." Right? Brave, brave woman. But she was successful in business. She proved that you can be a woman about the Father's business, and you can be in business to draw others to the kingdom of God. So I think about Lydia, and I had no idea when I was a little girl. I had no idea that the direction I was going to go. Now, how many of you, when you grew up, when you were growing up, little girl, you wanted to be something special? Okay, half of you. Some of you said, no, I don't want that. I don't want to be special. Well, I wanted to be a movie star. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be an investigator. I wanted to, did I say teacher? I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be, a sports star. I just had all these things as I was growing up that I wanted to be. And I was just totally enamored. I probably changed my mind, about every 3 to 6 months as I was growing up. But what I didn't realize is that God was working with me in a different way. He wasn't creating the path for me to become a movie star or anything, but what was happening is God was working in me to desire other things. He was cultivating me. He was preparing me to make a difference. You see, my mom was a Goodwill shopper, and she loved Goodwill, all right? And so, of course, she would drag me as her child to Goodwill, and that's where I get my clothes. And I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want to wear somebody else's clothes. And incidentally, now I am a Goodwill shopper. So that just goes to show that you really can't influence people. But I decided I wanted to make my own money. And I did that from the ages of 10 to 13, I carried the Indianapolis Star. I was a news carrier for the Star. I was in great shape. That was a hard job for a kid, right? Lots of papers. I grew that route. I got the all-star carrier. Yeah, that was kind of like being sort of a movie star. Got in the paper. And then crazy psycho people started calling our house, and it was crazy. But also, I was a Brownie and Girl Scout. So any Brownie Girl Scout ladies in here? Yay! Yeah, it's amazing. I love being a Brownie and a Girl Scout. I love selling the cookies. I love selling, I sold gifts, I sold laundry detergent, whatever they threw at us. You know how adults pimp kids out to pay for all the stuff, right? So I did all of that, and it was pretty amazing what God was working in me. He was really training me up to be a businesswoman, and I had no clue. I had no idea. And so as I got older, though, just as all things kind of change when you start to become a teenager, and those of you who have teenage children, I have a 16-year-old still left at home, so we're reliving this again. But there's something that happens. In my particular life, I was facing some pretty serious challenges, and I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but I mean, I was a runaway. I was in foster care. I was running away. I had a really difficult childhood coming up, and it was challenging. And I have to take a moment to just point something out here about girls. Because girls, this is something that I saw. I'm a research nerd. I love research. And so this fact came up that as girls get older, they stop believing they can do anything significantly impactful. What the research showed was that by the time girls are 5 years old, most of them, no longer believe that they can be the president, or that they can be the CEO of a company, or really make a big difference. And then by the age 7, most girls believe that they are not as smart as boys. Oh, that hurts my heart. That hurts my heart, because God created us to truly make a difference. And so we have to ask, why does this happen? Why does this happen? It's something that I call the 5 Ds. What happened, and by the way, in case you didn't notice, we do have an enemy who's working against us. He's always trying to cause inner critics to come at us, to try to knock us off of our confidence, and trying to move us away from who we are in Christ. And so what happens with girls, and what happens with us, is we start to entertain that seed of doubt. Well, am I really? Am I really smart? Am I really beautiful? When that happens, these 5 Ds just start to happen. Discouragement sets in. Then we start to get distracted. And I'm not just talking about girls. I'm talking about us as women right now. You may see one of these 5 Ds and say, that's exactly what I'm dealing with right now. I have so many things going on, so many distractions. There's no way that I can be used of God. And that's simply not true. But the enemy will bring in division, and he'll even encourage us to be disobedient and to move against what he wants. And so, college campuses, yes. I mean, we see there's so many things that are happening that are shocking these days. It's so different than when I was growing up. And I see some very seasoned ladies in here, and I know that some of the things that are happening right now can be even appalling to you. I mean, it was like unheard of to do some and talk about some of the things that we're experiencing today. But I was going through all of this. I was dealing with the 5 Ds, and in my situation, I ended up, when I was 17, I ended up hitchhiking all the way down to Alabama. Place where I didn't know anybody. I was so desperate to just get away from all of the challenges and all of the dysfunction in my life that I left there. And unfortunately, I jumped from the frying pan right into the fire, because I married a man who became a drug addict. We had 2 children, and it was a nightmare. It was an abusive situation. It was an absolute nightmare. And I knew God, but I did not serve him at that time. But God brought me to a very desperate place. And then one day in 1994, June 1994, God just zapped me. He zapped me, and my life, my outlook on everything changed immediately. And my circumstances had not changed, but my whole outlook was completely different. Incidentally, things started happening. My husband, he was having an affair with someone that he was doing drugs with. I found out about it. That ended our marriage. We had to go in hiding, me and my 2 children. He had quite a temper, and so we had to go and and hide. And miraculously, a woman from my church had an empty house that had been sitting empty for a year, and she needed someone to look after it. The same day that she asked a lady in my church if she knew anyone, is the same day that God moved me out. And so we have a place to hide and recover, and it was just so miraculous how God just came in and changed the whole situation. And so here's what I want to say, just to get us up to speed here about this, because it was really at that point that it wasn't easy. I still struggled financially as a single parent. We had our moments where we would hit the Walmart parking lot and scrounge for change. That's how desperate we got. But eventually, slowly, God brought us out of that. But there also, I had a lot of baggage to deal with. And God dealt with that in a very unusual way. And what God did was He called me to Iraq. When 9/11 happened, I'm going to tell you, something woke up in me. Something just woke up in me. My values of faith, freedom, and respect were all just on fire the day that 9/11 happened. And I knew that I needed to do something about that. I didn't know what I could do. I wasn't thinking that I'm thinking, I'm just one woman. What difference can I make? Well, let me tell you, when you tell God you want to make a difference, He hears your call. It doesn't matter how old you are. Every single woman in here, there's a way that you can make a difference. And all of our paths they don't look alike. So I went to Iraq, and this was in vehement opposition. Everybody was against me going, you're a mother. You should be staying at home with your kids. My children were teenagers, and I did the right thing. I made sure that they were safe with someone that I trusted, my best friend of 20 years. We worked out an arrangement where they could be with her while I went and did this. And, even my dad, the day that I deployed to Iraq, he's like, why are you doing this? I said, you've taught me to be a woman of faith. I'm going on faith. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I went to Iraq. And I have to admit, ladies, I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so glamorous. Let me tell you, when we landed in Kuwait, 115-degree weather, being dumped off by a C-31 plane, and you don't see any other females except for yourself, that is a scary realization. So I went on to my base. I was one of 16 females on my base. One of 16. 7 of those ladies left the first week. Some of them were attacked. Some of them were just appalled at what was going on there. It was a reality check. We were in a war zone. There were rockets and mortars flying around our head. But, my biggest challenge were my male colleagues. They were so opposed to me being there that it was out of my role. And I'll tell you, my work was sabotage. I was stalked, I was harassed, and I was attacked. And the night that I was attacked, I just had a come to Jesus moment. And let me tell you, I wanted to leave. But you don't just get in a car and drive off in Iraq. That takes planning. Incidentally, I did not have the money to go back home because a trusted friend had cleaned out my bank account. I had $0 in my account. And I talk about this story more in my book, The Purple Life. I talk more at length about it. But here's the point of this story. God made me face my fears. God would not allow me to leave and hide. He made me build confidence. He made me face everything that I was fearing. And I had no idea why. Now I know. Now I know because of the role that I play and the things that I do. But it was a miracle. I came back. I spent 3 years there. and came back in 2007. Incidentally, I got a nice bonus package, a husband. I met my husband, Aaron. We've been married 18 years now. So that was a part of God's plan, and I asked God if I could have him. That was the first time ever that I had done that. But yeah, so I came back, and it seemed like everything was going to be wonderful. I had a partner in life, had a baby at 40. That was challenging. But we were on our way. We were on our way. I was working in corporate, getting promotions, moving along. We came back to Indiana in 25. I was sharing this story with some of my friends here. But we came back in 2011, 2012. My mom was terminally ill. And so we decided we were going to come back and take care of her. And then she went into remission and moved to Florida. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to set her free. But I started my own business. I started my own consulting business, and it immediately took off. I was making great money, and it should be wonderful, right? It should be. There was a gnawing feeling. Something gnawing me saying, something's missing. You're not doing something. You're making the money, you've got the big house, you've got the happy family, but something else is missing. And so when I asked the Lord about it, I just hear this little whisper, I have a building for you. Well, let me tell you, that was not what I wanted to hear. I don't want a building. I don't want the expenses of a building. Why are we doing this? Well, of course, the Lord didn't give me an answer. He says, just do it. Just do it. Now I know where Nike got their saying. It came from God. Just do it. Well, so I reluctantly start looking for a building. Have no idea what it's for. I think, maybe that's going to be my corporate headquarters. Maybe that's where, I'll just do business. I'm not meant to do business from my house, okay? So we come into this house, and this is what we see. So I walk into this house that wasn't even for sale. My real estate agent had just heard from a friend through a friend that it was going to be for sale. So I walk into this house, and in a moment, I just get a revelation of what's going on here. God was showing me that this is the state that we women find ourselves in. We find ourselves, after all the stuff we're doing, we feel broken down. We feel inadequate. We're in need of repair. And the Lord showed me when I walked through that house that my job was to help women to overcome this so that they could become this. This is the VIP Center for Business Women. The Lord called me to work specifically with women in business to help them to grow in their faith and in business. It was the most surreal and supernatural experience that I've ever had. And so we opened up. We've actually been open now for over 5 years. We opened up the VIP Center. And what God showed me also in this is that we as women are visions in progress. We are visions in progress. That means He's always working in us. He's from the it's not over yet. I heard some ladies today talk about, I've retired, I'm just kind of hanging out. It's not over yet. As long as you have breath in your lungs, you're called to make a difference. You're called to make a difference. And here's the thing. I think it's so funny, we were coming in and looking at everybody's names, and, you got your name tag, and, well, you know what? God knows your name. He does not measure you according to what Mother Teresa did. He's not measuring you according to all of the gifts that Oprah gave away. His ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He wants to know if we're going to be obedient and answer the call. So let me just tell you something. You are famous in God's eyes. You are. You are famous in God's eyes. Every single one of you are famous in God's eyes. He wants you to be in the right place at the right time. And so, I was thinking about names. Names. Have you ever really thought about what your name means? Has anyone ever looked it up? Yeah? Some of you? Hopefully it's not mole or jail is mountain goat. Those women, they really needed to work on that. So hopefully your name is not, cow patty or anything like that. But I'll tell you what, this is kind of crazy. This is what leads me here on this stage today, talking to you. What I found out about my name is Angie, and it means messenger. And so that's why I'm here today, because I have a message for you. And that message includes 3 key scriptures. First of all, your steps are ordered of the Lord. Your steps are ordered of the Lord. That means every step that you've taken, it's not been an accident. There are no accidents where God is concerned. He has ordered your steps. Second, your gift will make room for you. You may think that you have a little gift, but it's not really that big of a deal. In God's mind, it is a big deal. And He wants you to use it. He wants you to use it till your last breath here on this earth. And then the third, you have everything that you need. We as women, we constantly operate in the deficit mindset. We're always thinking in scarcity. But God says we have everything that we need. He has given us an abundance. And so your call today is simply this. One woman can make a difference. And you may be looking at the sister next to you. You may be caught up in the spirit of comparison where you're, well, I don't have everything. Well, you're not called to compare. You're called to pair up. To pair up and pray up. You're called to make a difference. And I wanted to give you those 3 scriptures so that you know that I'm not just another one of those speakers who just say, yeah, be positive, everything's going to be all right. I wanted to give you the word to back it up. This is what God says about you. This is what He says you are. And I wanted to be obedient to that today. So I appreciate you having me today. I have really enjoyed being with you lovely ladies, and I hope that you will take this to heart. I own the VIP Center for Business Women in Indianapolis. I would love for you to connect with me. So there's my contact. You can even take your phone and scan that QR code. I would love to talk to you. If you feel like you're being called to something, something's missing, that's what my job is. My job is to help women to step into that calling and stop operating beneath what they were called to do. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Angie. I think we were all inspired by your message today. Thank you for your service, and thank you for sharing your message with us today. You were indeed a messenger. We are going to now, I know we're getting close to our ending time, so we are going to do the door prizes and give away those. We would like to thank a couple of people, businesses and people who generously donated our door prizes. Taste of Indiana, Terry McCahill so generously put that together for us. Angie Nuttle donated a book, and there is a book over there, but she has said that you can choose either of her books. So if you would like the other one as opposed to the one we have out, you can do that. Stretch Lab of Carmel. I don't know if any of you have ever been to this place. Lisa and I will sing its praises up and down. It's like a little mini massage, and I'm telling you, you walk out of there feeling great. Emerge Aesthetics, which donated facial for us, and thank you to Janine Sell. I don't know where you are. I know you're somewhere here. Oh, she was she got that for us. Lisa made the rosary over there. Dorothy Sapienza crocheted, I think, crocheted or knitted, crocheted the white baby blanket. Feinstein's has donated the 2 tickets for us. And Jeannie Graves, I don't know where Jeannie is. Jeannie graciously donated a 30-minute photography session